is Horror Sucks, the podcast where we watch horror movies and tell you why they suck. I'm Ashley Atkins, and I fell down the stairs today.
Seconds before this, Ashley said, I have a funny story to tell you.
That's not the funny story.
Oh my god. All right. And I'm Carter Rhodes, and I am wearing a really nice Tommy Bahama shirt. You guys can't see it, but it's got drink recipes on it.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
I do like it. No, my funny story is that yesterday I went out wearing my Camp Crystal Lake counselor shirt, and so I was at TJ Maxx, and one of the girls checking me out goes, "Oh, are you a camp counselor?" And I was like, no. She
In a way.
I was like, what's? It's from the Friday the 13th movie. She goes, "Oh," and she was like, "I'm so embarrassed." She goes, "I haven't seen them," and I was like, "That's okay."
Friday the 13th is also not one of those, like, mega franchises. Like, if someone missed out on, like... It's not like if you were wearing a Hogwarts shirt and someone's like, "Oh, did you go to school there? Is that your alma mater?" Like, no one gives a shit about Friday the 13th. The game's getting shut down at the end of the year. There's nothing to be embarrassed about for not knowing that franchise.
No, I didn't even give her a hard time. I personally was more embarrassed than she was, because I was like, no, like, I just didn't know how to speak words.
All right, so tell me about falling down the stairs.
Oh, I was going down the stairs earlier today and, like, hit my heel on, like, a step and just slid down a couple steps, like, grabbed the railing and just, like, swung, and, like, I hurt my foot, like, my toe's not doing so great. Thriving today. Yeah, it's a rough weekend for me.
Yeah.
Embarrassment from both the shirt and the stairs. The worst thing is this is the second time I've fallen down the stairs within like 2 weeks. No,
you
okay,
do it
this
pretty
summer,
regularly
this
when
summer,
you see a movie. I don't know
that's
what it
falling
is.
up the stairs.
Yeah, you're right.
And it was only during October when I was wearing my shoes that do glow in the dark, but they're like a half a size too big. There's a reason for it then. Now I just have no excuse. This is like literally going down the stairs, slip and fall down the stairs. Going up the stairs I do regularly at home anyways. It's because we have wood stairs and I wear socks.
Yeah, that's a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
So, I don't remember how we left off last episode, but I believe I said we're never correct. And next we're going to be watching Cobwebs.
That is correct.
Cobwebs is just full on. I don't know what is going on there. Can't find it anywhere. It was in and out of theaters in like a week in our area. I don't know what happened, but even the theaters there, like, come see Cobwebs only in theaters, is now like, they're like, yeah, we have a showing at 9 a.m. and that's it.
That's weird.
So I don't know. I was bummed. That looked really good. And
yeah,
I like watching really good
it.
movies in theaters, but
yeah.
In any case,
I think they took it out of theaters because no one was going to see it, because it came out the same weekend as Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Yeah, no shit. Like, there's quite a few movies that literally were just like, yeah, we're just gonna sit on it for a couple weeks because we're not releasing the Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Right.
We're gonna get trounced.
Even people who like horror, us, chose to see Barbie or Oppenheimer prior to Cobwebs.
I actually...
Well, you waited, but...
Well, I waited to see Barbenheimer with Val. What I ended up doing was, on the opening weekend, watching Across the Spider-Verse, which I highly recommend. Very good movie. So, this week, instead of doing Cobwebs, which we wanted to do, this piece of shit movie was thrust upon us, and we're reviewing the 2022 film Talk to Me. Now, Ashley, what's today's date?
August 6th?
2023.
Correct.
This movie is confirmed to have been released in 2022. It's August. This is not like it was released late 2022 and we saw it early 2023. 8 months have passed since...
Well, it's because it was like, it's the indie release, so it's released at like the indie festival. It didn't get approved for a theater release until now.
It never should have been. God, it's one of those, like, proof of concept movies almost, where they're like, I bet we can make it scary, and then they make a 5-minute video that's scary, and people are like, let's get this thing feature length. And of course the theater was fucking packed for it.
Surprisingly, it was. I had no desire to see this film. Like, we saw the previews for it, and I was like, oh, we're not going to do that. Like, and then Cobwebs left, and I was like, oh.
I think we literally nixed it because we were like, it just doesn't look good. I don't want to see it.
Yeah. Exactly. So, before we get into it, a little bit about the podcast. So, Carter and I watch a movie every week and then review it. And how we do this is we give you the plot, we give you some fun facts, we review and with the good, the bad, and the spooky, and then we give our overall impressions, the Ralph Bones Memorial Line highlight, and then tell you what we're watching next week. That's pretty much it.
All right.
Carter, why don't you kick us off with the plot?
Sure thing. So this movie is a crisp 95 minutes, and it felt, frankly, way too long. So the movie opens with this dude going to a party looking for his brother, Duckett. By the way, they're Australian, in case you needed another reason to hate this movie. So he's looking for his brother, Duckett, and Duckett's kind of like, I don't know, zonked. He looks like he's on drugs, and his brother's like, hey, let's take you home. And then Duckett stabs his brother and then himself. So then the movie starts following Mia. Mia's mother obviously killed herself a couple years prior, and Mia is clearly just not dealing with that. She's like, oh, she accidentally took the sleeping pills, and she is not really getting along well with her dad, and she is instead getting close to her friend Jade and her family, including her younger brother, Riley. So there's been this, like, I don't even know what to call it, TikTok trend, basically, where the kids at the school show this video of someone grabs hold of, like, this ceramic hand, and they start, I don't know if you've ever seen those people who do the, like, what's that dream drug thing? Supposedly it's like when you fall asleep, if you listen to a certain kind of music, it makes it has properties like a drug. I don't know, but anyway, it looked like that. Is they were like shaking, making weird faces. It was big in middle school, I think.
Okay. Are you talking about like lucid dreaming?
It's similar to that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't remember. I thought it was like eye dropping. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's not important. I'm sorry I brought it up.
Sorry.
I haven't thought about it in like 5 years. So they appear to be possessed by ghosts, and everyone's like, well, that's obviously fake. But they decide to go to the party and check it out. Parties are hosted by Haley and Joss. I do not know which character is which, because they were used interchangeably in the movie, and their cast list does not have Wikipedia pages, So anyway, they go to Haley and Joss, or they go to their party to distract Mia from her grief, and they're also like, oh, let's figure out if it's real or not. So it's this ceramic hand that Haley and Joss claim contains the severed hand of a deceased medium, and it allows you to see and summon spirits. So what they do is they light a candle, which is symbolically opening the door for the ghosts. You take the hand, like you're holding hands, and you say, talk to me. And when you do that, you see a ghost. And then when you're ready, you say, let me in. Or I let you in. And then the ghost, like, possesses you, does weird stuff. Usually pretty harmless. Just kind of like snapping at people or something, like.
But you're not supposed to let it go on for more than 90 seconds.
Yeah, because if it takes longer than that, then the ghost wants to stay. So they have to remove the hand, make it so you're not holding the hand, and then blow out the candle, because that's shutting the door. So Mia goes and she sees a ghost right away. It works immediately. And she says, I let you in. And she is possessed. Not really.
There wasn't much to it.
Yeah. It is worth noting that she really zeroed in on Riley.
Yeah.
And that was kind of it. But she was like, we're gonna get you. But overall, it was pretty harmless.
Yeah.
And they end up blowing out the candle and banish the spirit. But she talks about later how much she enjoyed it. She describes it a lot like a drug. She's like, she just felt this euphoria almost, and describes it as addicting. They end up having another party with Haley and Joss. They bring the hand over, and then they just play with the hand some more. And everyone's having a blast except Jade's boyfriend, Daniel. He starts just cranking his hog during his possession. And
So, well, part of it was like the demon possessing him, or the ghost possessing him, I don't know, was like kind of making suggestions that like even though he was with the girlfriend, like he didn't really care for her, and that like he wanted Mia. And then he starts like humping the floor at some point and like
cranking his hog, yeah.
Basically, yeah.
So he's upset about it, you know, understandably, because everyone was recording him.
It was upsetting to watch.
But, you know, people like move on from it and still have a pretty good time.
Yeah.
And
because they knew it wasn't him.
Yeah. So Riley is intrigued and he wants to try it. And Jade is like, absolutely not, under no circumstances.
Fairly
like,
so.
Why you gotta be such a bitch? She storms out angry. And he's like, hey, Mia, can you let me? And because Mia's like the perfect example of why you can't just like say yes to children and be a good parent. She's like, all right, just for like 30 seconds. And Riley is possessed by someone who claims to be Mia's mother. So Mia like is like, no, don't go. Let's talk for a second. And Riley goes over and just starts to smash his face against like the wall. He claws at his own eye, I believe, successfully pulling his eye out.
Yeah, he was too young.
Just eventually they get the hand out and end the possession, and Riley's like dying. He's very badly injured.
Yep.
So they take him to the hospital, and I don't know, they have a whole like 10-minute sequence of them trying to explain it to the police, and in the end it just doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, because they have the whole thing on video, but the mother starts accusing Mia of giving him drugs.
Which, to be fair, like, if I had to guess why my son just started to claw out his own face, I would guess that his older sibling gave him drugs at a party.
Yeah, but she singles out Mia because Mia tried weed once.
Yeah.
And they had to previously mention that earlier in the movie, so that way they could bring it up later.
Yeah. So Mia goes and stays over with Daniel because... Actually, no, I think Daniel stays over with her.
Daniel drops her off and Mia convinces him to stay.
Yeah, so they like, you know, they have a totally platonic...
they sleep toe to head.
Yeah. And
it's weird.
They're like, yeah, that way we won't have sex or something. And she has this vivid dream of this, like, woman climbing up and just full-on sucking Daniel's toes. Just all the way up to the ankle in her mouth. And when Daniel's like, what the fuck? Mia kind of blinks, and she's the one sucking his toes. So...
It was, yeah.
I don't know. Later, Mia talks to her mother, and her mother is like, don't worry, Mia, I didn't kill myself. I never would. Even though I took a shitload of sleeping pills. That was an accident. And
Yeah, that's the story she kept saying too, is like, yeah, my mom accidentally took sleeping pills, but then she tried to claw her way out of the door and like but no one could hear her, and so she died fighting.
Yeah. So Mia starts to just see ghosts everywhere. She's losing her grip on reality. And the group kind of just meets up to debrief, and Mia reveals that she's seeing spirits. That's when it's revealed that the previous owner of the hand, who Haley and Joss got it from, was Duckett, the guy from the beginning. And he similarly said that he had started to see spirits. So they go and find his brother from the beginning who survived the attack. And he says that a living body naturally expels spirits, so all you gotta do is just stop using the fucking hand, and you'll get better. And she's like,
Better not.
yeah, so she decides they're gonna do a little seance for Riley. They do the they do the talk to me thing, like, without his consent, because he's in a coma. A young girl appears as the ghost, and she says, he lets you in, or something bullshit. Talk to him. I was like, you shouldn't be able to do that for someone else, but whatever.
Oh no, she says, I let you in, and she takes her to hell where he is.
So anyway, she sees where, like, Riley's soul is, and he's being tortured by spirits, and it's a very upsetting image. And Mia, talking to her mother, the ghost, starts to be convinced that Riley is in pain and needs to be put out of his misery, and that the mom's spirit will be able to help Riley afterwards. But for now, he's in pain. So Mia's dad is like, yeah, she committed suicide. Here's the suicide note. He reads it to her. And the mother's like, no, he's lying. That's not your dad. There's a struggle, and she accidentally kills her dad. Actually, yeah, she does kill him eventually.
Yeah, she does.
So she's convinced. She goes to the hospital, lures Jade and Jade's mother away, and goes to kill Riley. And
she can't do it.
Yeah. So she ends up deciding to just kind of take him out to the highway. So Jade discovers Mia's dead dad and is like, oh shit, she's gonna kill Riley because she tricked me into coming here. So she rushes home. Jade, like, just wheelchairs Riley out. Oh, by the way, it's worth noting, at one point Riley woke up and immediately tried to kill himself again and was like... Yeah. So he's, like, in a medically induced coma.
Yeah.
But Cole is like, if you just leave him be, he's gonna get better. Just stop fucking with the spirits. Mia wheels him up, like, to an overpass and basically tries to dump him into the highway, and it's unclear if Jade stops her or if she has a moment of clarity or what, but in any case, she's the one who ends up in the highway, and Riley's safe. She wakes up in the hospital, and she kind of wanders around and sees Jade and Riley, but is unable to reach them. She sees her dad, and eventually it becomes clear to her that she is dead. And everything goes dark until she sees a candle. She, like, approaches the candle and just sees a hand kind of sticking out from it. So she takes the hand and sees people at a party with their hand. It's explicitly stated that they're Greek for some reason. And they all, like... It's
just more so to be like, it's not just the U.S., or it's not this... I don't know if it's the same hand, it's just...
But everyone's like, oh, when they see her. So I don't even know if you could call that a cycle or what. But in any case, now she's one of the spirits.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Alright, so some facts. I don't think I can call them fun. This movie is directed by Danny Philippou and Michael Philippou. They are related. This is their film directorial debut. They turned down something else for this film.
Do you know what they turned down?
It was something I didn't recognize. It's a film in the DCEU. Is that the
DC cinematic universe?
Yeah.
I don't know what the name of it is.
Yeah. It was an unknown film in the DCEU. And I'm like, well, all right, that's fair. And then, so this is Sophie Wilde played Mia. This is their film debut. Zoe Terekes plays Haley, and they were in 9 Perfect Strangers. Miranda Otto plays Sue, the mother of Jade, and she was in Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and then also The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Who was she in The Two Towers?
I have no idea.
Would you say her name was? I'll look it up while you're talking.
Miranda Otto. And then Otis Don.
She's fucking Eowyn. I can't believe I didn't notice that.
It's been a while since I've seen.
She's the one who killed the Witch King.
Yes.
One of the 3 female characters in Lord of the Rings.
That's right. Yes. So Daniel is played by Otis Donahue, and he was an Aquaman. And then Alexandra Jensen plays Jade, and I don't think I recognized any of the movies that she's been in. Yeah. That's it. Mm-hmm. So facts. 6 hands were made for the movie. Because they were afraid of one getting broken. And the director, Danny Philippou, has kept one of them.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So except for a couple of grip rig shots, the entire second possession scene was shot in less than an hour. And then that's it. The rest of it kind of filtered in.
All right. So, let's talk about the good parts of this movie. There are not many.
No.
I am going to start with...
Please do.
I liked the general concept of the traditional, like, ghost telling you to kill yourself, or to kill someone, but from the point of view of the person being affected. Like, from Mia's point of view, we see that she's emotionally vulnerable. She thinks she's talking to her dead mom. And her mom frames it in a way that is palatable. Instead of, like, you should just kill everyone. Yeah. She's like, you should kill this specific person who you love, who's in pain. And you don't know what she's showing Mia is real or what. But she's just a lot of telling Mia what she wants to hear, and... I quite enjoyed that, is from the audience we could see what was happening. It was a little bit, it's probably been done before, but it was a little bit of a twist on a classic.
Yeah. You know, I didn't think of it that way, because I really didn't like the mother, but I like that perspective. I liked the hand. I thought it was cool. I thought it was different than, like, you know, like a classic. Usually it's a Ouija board or even just like a seance. This was something that I personally hadn't seen before, so I liked it, that it was new to me. I don't know if have you seen some similar concept?
I mean, like you said, it's been done with Ouija. I don't think there's ever been like an invented object like this before.
Yeah, so I just thought that was interesting and new. I liked the idea behind it.
I liked there was like a consistent hand theme to it, like a lot of shots of people washing their hands to show she's nervous.
She picks
Mia
at her fingernails.
Picks at her fingernails.
Yeah.
It's nothing groundbreaking, but it was a nice little like. Thematically, the whole movie is like telling you it's about the hand. I quite liked that.
Yeah. What else you got?
The practical effects in Riley's possession were just amazing.
Yeah.
Especially with his eye. That
was good.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
In the when he comes to like the second time too, I really liked him just like licking the floor. I thought actually the kid who played Riley did a pretty good job.
Agreed.
Out of everyone, it's just him for me.
I am out of. Good.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I have one more.
All right, lay it on us.
During the movie, there's just some dude who was snoring during the. Very clearly, you could hear him just like, and I don't blame him.
During the movie, there was someone having a literal conversation in the back. I think someone was like also made fun of like the movie, but I also we didn't even talk about the fact that we didn't sit with each other for this movie because it was so packed. I had to sit in the back row while Carter got to sit in the like not the front row, but like the front row of the back section, and I was like, "Heck is this?" People up in the back were obnoxious.
The people up at the front were very obnoxious too. To be fair, it sounds like I banished you to the back. No. To be fair, our options to sit together were like the very front to the left and right where we could not see the screen.
No, it was worth sitting back there. I
was like, this frankly wouldn't be fair of us as reviewers to sit at this angle and be like, it looked like shit.
You mean when I went to see Scream the opening night? I only had one choice. Anyways. Yep. But yeah, that's all my good. Mm-hmm. I'm ready for the bad.
Okay.
I'll start us off.
Okay.
So, they're just a bunch of dumb kids, and it was really just kind of annoying.
Yeah, it was one of the worst portrayals of kids I've ever seen.
Yeah.
They're so obnoxious, and they're like always looking at their Snapchats of ghost hands.
Also, the way the social media like played, it just was kind of dumb.
Yeah. They're like telling jokes that are just super unfunny. They're uninteresting people.
Yeah.
They use slang that was clearly just written by someone who doesn't understand it. They're like, yeah, I'm telling the truth on God. I'm like, yeah, okay. Okay, Zillennial, I'm sure. I'm sure you are a child saying that and not a 50-year-old just Googling what do kids say.
Yeah. I just the issue with the kids and also these stupid parties, they're like, oh, we're gonna have a party, and it's like maybe 10 people, and I'm like, okay.
They're all sitting around too.
Yeah.
Like when it's a booming party, you can sit around, but when there's 10 people, I don't know, you need something to do.
They're sitting around, they're like, they also were like, whenever they post videos and stuff, it always looks booming, and then it just looks like a small chunk of kids.
Frankly, I don't think that hand would hold my attention for very long. Even if I was the kind of person who was like, yeah, let me try it, which I'm not, I would be like, yeah, I'd have them. That's it. I don't really care to see everyone else do it.
Yeah, I honestly, same. I would not sit there and watch people get possessed, number one. Number two, I'd probably leave because it looked boring. Yeah. They like tried to throw music over a montage of like all of them doing it. Like again and again, and it was like, this is not entertaining. I don't know what kids like sitting there like, haha, let me take a video of this. Yeah. It's like the equivalent of like doing keg stands. Like, you do it like, oh, that was so fun, but I'm not gonna sit here and watch everyone do a keg stand or take a video besides like people I'm really close with. Like,
and their possessions were so uninteresting. Yeah, it was like some people would kind of be a little weird. I'm like, oh, okay, they're a little odd. Other people would just talk.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense why like these kids would be obsessed with this.
Yeah.
It also didn't make sense why they like kept going back to doing it.
Yeah.
Beyond like she did say it was kind of like taking a drug, sure, I get that. But even still, it just is uninteresting. Like, I wouldn't want to watch people over and over do it over and over again so that I could then have a turn. Like, I'd just be like, all right, tell me when it's my turn. Like, put me on a schedule.
Give me a text.
There's no clout here.
Yeah. So then on top of that, Haley was just an unbelievable dick to Jade. Like, for some reason, Haley was upset that Mia was there because they were like, she's
just a downer.
Yeah, and then
it's like, yeah, okay, her mom died like 2 years ago.
Jade said that, and she's like, her mom died, and Jade's like, or Haley's like, keep telling yourself that, and like does that thing where they like slap your cheek a little bit. It was just very disrespectful. Like, I would have left the party.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not going to be talked down to by you like that.
No, I would not have stayed. This whole environment was just, like, uninteresting to me. And, like, yeah. I've had some, like, not so great parties. They don't go well sometimes. But, like, even still, it just... I'm not a jerk to the people that come over.
And then there was the scene in which they're like, let's show that Riley and Mia are close. So Mia picks him up, and they just start singing a song as they drive. And it was just so uninteresting to listen to. It's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I've done that, but I cannot not imagine it was fun to watch as an outsider.
It just was uninteresting.
Being goofy and singing a song is not good TV.
No. Also, later he, like, crawls into bed with her, and I understand that they're close, but it still was kind of odd.
Yeah.
It was weird. And uncomfy.
So I do have a big one to get into, but I want to nitpick first.
Okay.
3 quick ones. Number 1, Mia's actress pretended to sneeze. It was terrible. It was so obvious. Like, achoo. It was terrible. Number 2, they were, like, planning out the party, and she's like, oh, yeah, you can, my mom will be gone at 9, but I need you to be gone by midnight. It's like, perfect. I have a place I need to be at 11. I'll be there at 10. I'm like, did you just schedule a 1-hour party? And then the final minor nitpick is her mom wrote what has to be the worst suicide note I've ever heard. I'm going to see if I can find it. It was just like, she talked a lot about the weather and very little about how she felt. It's like,
yeah, it was odd.
Well, in any case, it was just like, it's raining outside, and I'm not sad because I'm going to move on to the next place. And I'm like, that's not... It's not a good suicide note.
No.
You're not under any... First of all, don't kill yourself. But if you do, you aren't under any obligation to leave a note. That's fine if you do or don't. But from a movie perspective, you are obligated to make it interesting to me. You as a person are under no obligation to entertain me. A movie is. And they wrote the worst suicide note ever. It was like written by someone...
standpoint, yes.
It was written by someone who used like the game of telephone to find out what suicide is. Is they're like, they're sad, right? That's why they do it? Yeah. Let's say she's sad and people will get it.
Anyone who is considering, please reach out to the suicide hotline. Thank you. Sorry, just gotta, tuck the bed in a little after that statement. All right, what's the big thing that you want to get into?
It is the worst storytelling I've ever seen in any movie. So it starts off establishing that the hand works objectively. Like, you see it from Mia's point of view. She sees a ghost. We know what it's capable of. We saw in the beginning. And from then on, there's just... And then later, Riley gets hit. So there's no tension because we know exactly what it's capable of. We know that it works. It just isn't building to anything. The fact that Riley, just beat the shit out of himself completely overshadows the drama of Mia talking to the ghosts. That's just entirely lost because something way more interesting happened. She keeps talking about, having sex with Daniel as, a... haha, I'm joking, unless... But,
it was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then it doesn't build to anything.
She's like, he was my boyfriend first.
Yeah.
And it's a week in, 3rd grade? Oh, my God.
It was, it was meant to be over the top, but then it didn't do anything with it. We could pick up that maybe she had unresolved feelings.
Right.
Nothing happened, except the toe sex scene. The fact that they're posting the video of the hand just trivializes it.
Yeah.
Is like something you see on TikTok. If they had a no recording rule, maybe that would add an element of mystery to it.
Then I would be like, all right, well, now I want to go and I want to watch.
Yeah, they
Like,
could be
you
like,
post one video and then you say, hey, you can't post any videos. Or someone accidentally leaks a video, which then, like, instead of just a fun thing friends were doing, now everyone wants to try it.
Mm-hmm. And then, like, it was weird that Mia was like, oh, I want to try that. Instead of, if there was no video, you could totally see them being like, well, I'd like to see it. Everyone says it's working. So.
Right. There was no reason for her to be like, I want to try that. It just kind of didn't make sense.
Mm-hmm. There's a scene in the beginning, or towards the beginning, where she accidentally hits a kangaroo, and it's in pain, and Riley's like, we have to put it out of its misery, and she's like, she can't do it. It's just on the nose. It just is very obvious, like, setup.
Yeah.
And then lastly, it just doesn't explain anything. It doesn't explain why the ghost could possess her. It doesn't explain why she was singled out. Her relationship with Daniel was never resolved. It just, there was so much that built to nothing.
Yeah. So I got a couple things. So the friendship with between Jade and Mia was just uninteresting. Mm-hmm. Like, they were supposed to be best friends, but then Jade's constantly ignoring her for her boyfriend. And then, so instead, Mia's hanging out with Riley or talking to Riley. Or, Jade is, like, jealous that Mia and Daniel are kind of sort of friends. But then also, like, Jade blames Mia for what happened to Riley, as she should. But then immediately kind of forgets about it after Mia expresses that she's seeing ghosts. And it was just like, you're dumping so much on this girl. And she just is kind of like, yeah, let me help. Like, okay, you want to help my brother, like, come into the hospital. Like, it just, too up and down, all over the place. It just was not interesting or good. Mm-hmm. And then just the mom constantly, like, showing up to her just wasn't interesting. Mm-hmm. And, yeah. What you got?
That's it for my bad.
Great. Let's move on to the spooky.
All right. The, like, limbo thing it showed Riley in was fucking terrifying. Yeah. It's like this hellish area where everyone's naked and they're, like, ripping at him. It was terrifying.
When she kills the dad, that kind of got me.
Okay.
That was it.
Riley bashing his head in was really... It was, like, really scary in simplicity.
Yeah.
As he just started bashing his head against whatever surface he could find, just ripping at his face. It was really, especially when he got to his eye, that got to me.
Yeah.
So some overall notes. This movie follows a trope I've noticed in horror, which is in a lot of, like, the 80s and 90s, there were movies that's like normal guy turns out to be the chosen one. In horror recently, I've been seeing a lot of, like, pretty girl feels sad about things and then something happens to her.
Yeah, this is kind of like that.
She just kind of feels sad about things and then the movie starts. It was just awful storytelling from start to finish.
Yeah.
And they told that story in the least engaging, least interesting way possible.
I was going to say, bad storytelling can be forgiven with entertainment. There was none. Mm-hmm. It was not entertaining. Yeah, and I don't know why. I was looking at reviews for this earlier today, and they were all, like, mostly positive, and I was like, did y'all actually see the movie? Because, that foot-licking scene alone is just reason to set it on fire. What is your Memorial Line highlight?
I actually didn't have one written down because not a lot of dialogue in this movie was memorable. So let me see what I can find.
Okay.
Perfect. When Haley goes, yo, this spirit's a cunt. I guess that's a line. It's one of two. There are two quotes in the IMDb section right now.
That's wild. Yeah, that's it. That's it for this movie.
Yeah, I'm happy to be done with it.
I can't wait to, like, never think of it ever again.
Yeah.
Honestly.
All right. What's your rating?
Oh, gosh. A 1.
Mm-hmm. A 1 what?
1 hand. 1 eyeball being removed from a face.
Okay, that's pretty good. I'm going with 2 foot suck scenes. It was really bad. So, sounds like we're wrapping up here for today.
Yeah.
No one's really, complained about this, but I still feel the need to mention it, which is that there is a writer strike going on that actually I have not yet addressed.
Oh, yeah.
But I will say that I don't know about Ashley, but I looked at the strike guidelines, and the relevant guidelines are that writers are not allowed to create content for a struck company, and I can't remember the other one, but Ashley and I do not produce any content for any company. In fact, when we say Wild Thing Media, that's a joke. Wild Thing Media doesn't exist.
It's our media.
It doesn't exist. It's just Ashley and I, which is part of the beauty of We Can't Be Sued, is we're not making money with this company.
No, because it's not a company.
Yeah, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So we, are not violating. We're not crossing the picket line by.
No, we're not
doing this podcast, and
we're in full support of the strike.
Yeah, they've specifically, the guild has specifically asked people not to boycott productions. So we are not violating it by reviewing a movie.
Yeah.
So.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Just remember, if you're not supporting the worker, you're supporting their boss, and the studio heads do not need more money. As much as it may piss you off that actors are getting paid millions for shitty movies, the studio heads are making hundreds of millions for those shitty movies.
Yes.
And are the ones that are responsible for the shittiness.
Yes. Great. And then also the other thing I'm bringing up, we've been getting some really nice messages about the show. I want to give a shout out to John, who sent us an email to our email. If you didn't know we have an email, it's horrorsucks@gmail.com. Feel free to send me your email. I haven't responded to John yet. I got to do that. And then we received another nice note from one of Carter's friends. So shout out to Connor. And yeah, that's all we got. Oh, what are we doing next week?
Next week, because this was supposed to be my birthday movie, we are doing a movie of my choice, and I have picked Final Destination, which I wouldn't call one of my favorites, but it's a pretty solid movie. And what's interesting about it is that there is a lot wrong with it. So I think we'll have a lot to talk about.
I think we'll have a good time. But yeah, and with that,
stay spooky.
Horror Sex is brought to the Wild Thing Media.